wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken.
It got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2.
Once upon a very chaotic Hollywood timeline, Disney tried to serve us Snow White 2.0, except instead of birds singing and dwarves whistling while they worked, we got Rachel Zegler roasting princes, Jack Black throwing shade like he's in a rap battle, and a Minecraft movie stomping through like Godzilla at the box office. You couldn't make this stuff up, even if you tried.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight.
So it all started when Disney, in their infinite wisdom, decided to reboot Snow White, a classic, the blueprint, the film that built the entire Disney empire brick by brick, or should I say, block by block, considering what's coming. Anyway, they handed the lead role to Rachel Zegler, who is gorgeous, talented, and, well, apparently not a fan of the source material. Instead of blowing kisses to woodland creatures and singing about love's first kiss, she hopped on every mic and red carpet she could find to remind the world that this Snow White didn't need no man, no dwarves, and definitely no stalking prince with questionable boundaries. Which, valid points maybe, but when you're starring in Snow White, maybe don't insult Snow White. Just a thought.
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends.
Enter Jack Black. Yes, Jack Black, the Kung Fu Panda, unexpected hero. While Zegler was discussing shattering patriarchy with a poison apple, Jack was hiding in Hollywood, eating metaphorical popcorn and whispering, "What in the actual fairy tale hell is going on?" The alleged confrontation with Zegler behind the scenes was less Disney magic and more Real Housewives reunion. Hollywood rumors say he laid it all out. Arrogance, disrespect to the original, and the prince is a stalker thing. Jack wasn't here for it. In a Disney tragedy, Jack Black is the voice of reason, thus things are bad for the 7 dwarfs. Disney stated, "No more short kings about dwarves. Let's CGI 7 fabled creatures that look like budget Game of Thrones rejects." Fans exclaimed, "Excuse me, what?" Peter Dinklage's prior critiques may have spiritually yeeted the thought into the sun. In interviews, Zegler doubled down, tripled down, and then triple-axled, declaring, "This isn't your grandfather Snow White," while alienating everyone's grandfather, also grandmother, also Gen Z, and millennials. Even boomers asked, "Where's the damn prince?"
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Now, while this glittering dumpster fire of a PR disaster was happening over at Disney's castle, over in the land of pixels and pickaxes, the Minecraft movie, yes, the one based on a game where people punch trees and build cubes, was quietly preparing its revenge. Critics had called it childish, fans were skeptical, but then, boom, premiere weekend came and it exploded. Teens in suits, kids throwing popcorn, people screaming at the screen like it was Endgame. Minecraft turned out to be the chaotic neutral king we didn't see coming. No politics, no lectures, just good old blocky fun. And guess what? It made more money in one weekend than Snow White did in 3. That's not just a flop, that's a tragic princess fall flat on her face in glass slippers kind of flop. Back to our girl Rachel. Now, to be fair, being thrown into therapy over this whole mess is no joke, and mental health is no laughing matter. But at the same time, girl, you called the prince a stalker, said your character doesn't dream of love, and basically acted like the original movie was a crime against humanity. That's like signing up to play Cinderella and then going, "Ugh, who wears glass shoes? I'm barefoot and thriving, babe." Like, respectfully, why did you even sign up for the role?
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and, most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you. Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform.
And then there's Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen. Stunning woman, Wonder Woman, icon, but reportedly delivered a performance so flat it made cardboard look dynamic. Sources say Jack Black didn't just come for Zegler, he had critiques for everyone. The acting? Soulless. The chemistry? Non-existent. Then came the numbers. On Saturday, Minecraft raked in $60 million. Snow White? 2. As in 1-2. As in someone at Disney probably cried into a mouse ear hat that night. And the cherry on top? South Park entered the chat. Of course they did. The kings of animated chaos turned the whole saga into a parody so brutal it could make a Disney animator retire. They mock the woke messaging, the casting changes, the tone-deaf interviews, and even had Cartman race and gender swapped just to hammer in the point. Fans were rolling. Disney execs, not so much.
In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP.
Meanwhile, Rachel is still doubling down. At one point she even said, "I'm the hottest person alive and don't need your business." Okay, self-confidence, but maybe tone it down a notch when your movie's sinking faster than the Titanic. And the worst part? People actually wanted this to succeed. Nostalgia was ready, the audiences were prepped. Even Disney CEO Bob Iger reportedly freaked out, called emergency meetings, sweating into a suit, trying to figure out how Minecraft of all things just curb-stomped his flagship reboot. Interns running around, executives Googling how to cancel a movie politely.
They're remaking the movie, they just got rid of the dwarves, okay?
Okay, but what do they call them?
Why
now,
would they
too?
get rid of the
call them
dwarves, though?
Magical creatures.
But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures.
Meanwhile, Rachel's probably somewhere saying it's not a love story for the 472nd time, while Gal stares into her magic mirror hoping for better reviews. And just when you thought the drama had peaked, like how much more chaotic could one princess remake possibly get, the real show started backstage. The confrontation with Jack Black was only the prelude, because according to witnesses, and we love us a good anonymous source with a penchant for theatrics, Rachel Zegler bolted off stage post-screening, sobbing like she just found out the poisoned apple wasn't organic. Her cries reportedly echoed through the corridors like a haunted Disneyland ride, and honestly, that might be the most Disney this whole production has ever felt. And look, heartbreak is one thing, but when your tears are louder than the box office numbers, girl, that's not a curse, that's a PR crisis.
Disney's Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion.
Now, the infamous 18 hours in a dress quote? Oh boy. Rachel, you're not Cinderella scrubbing the floors, you were paid, handsomely might I add, to wear a costume and pretend to be a fairy tale icon. And then to claim you should get royalties every time someone streams the movie? You'd think she was method acting for the crown. Like, are you okay? Is the pumpkin carriage low on gas? Or are you just calculating how many times you can say feminism in a press tour before your co-stars call HR? Because let's be real, Rachel Zegler isn't struggling to make rent.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist, who's just clinical at this point, saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Spielberg literally handed her a golden ticket with West Side Story, and Disney probably cut her a check that could buy her a castle of her own. But somehow, she still managed to become the walking embodiment of Hollywood privilege wrapped in victim couture. Meanwhile, audiences were just begging for a little escapism. Not a lecture, not a therapy session, and definitely not a one-woman political monologue disguised as a fairy tale. Insiders say the vibe behind the scenes was frosty. Not Elsa Frosty, corporate chili. Jack Black didn't scream, he didn't shout, but his words apparently hit harder than any poisoned apple. Something along the lines of, contempt for the fans is career poison. And he's not wrong. Fans don't need perfection, but they do need to feel like the people making their childhood stories care about them. Not mock them, not roll their eyes at them, and certainly not call them stalkers for enjoying a Disney romance.
Let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again.
And then came the triple scoop of chaos, Zegler's sudden decision to dip into Middle Eastern politics, despite the fact that her own co-star served in the Israeli army. This isn't Real Housewives of Ramallah. There are entire international relations departments that wouldn't touch that topic with a 10-foot pole. But our girl Rachel just sprinted into the discourse like it was a musical number. The fallout? Epic.
It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids movie should be. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message.
Disney reportedly hired a full-time media babysitter just to shadow her and make sure she didn't continue dragging the company's billion-dollar legacy through the political mud. Then came the apology, if you can call it that. Somewhere between I went too far and you're all just mean, Rachel gave us a classic non-apology apology, and Disney? Panic mode. They yanked her from daytime talk shows like she was a controversial Big Brother contestant. Mental health statements started floating around like confetti. Emergency reshoots were greenlit. PR teams screamed into conference room voids. And amidst it all, Minecraft? Minecraft was hitting $300 million like it was casually leveling up in survival mode.
What's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
Meanwhile, CEO Bob Iger reportedly whispered the line heard round the Disney kingdom, "How did we let Snow White become a TED Talk?" If I had a glass slipper every time someone asked that, we'd have a Payless shoe rack full of shattered dreams. And oh yes, the dwarfs. Or wait, magical creatures. Disney tried to erase dwarfs to avoid offense and somehow offended everyone. Peter Dinklage had already raised valid points, but this wasn't progress, it was just erasure disguised as inclusivity. The irony? By trying not to offend anyone, they ended up offending, well, everyone. Like, imagine a remake of The Little Mermaid where they just take out the mermaids. What are we doing here?
Literally no offense to anything. They're very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that backward.
Online, the culture war obviously went full-on nuclear. TikToks, Twitter threads, Instagram memes of Rachel alone in empty theaters while Minecraft screenings turned into chaotic, blocky raves. She kept posting, no one showed up. Black, on the other hand, was probably off somewhere being crowd-surfed by adoring fans in creeper cosplay. It was the perfect metaphor. A cold, empty theater for Snow White, while Minecraft got the electric energy of a Beyoncé concert for 12-year-olds. And then, silence. Zegler's social media had vanished into black and white taking time to heal notes. The kind that scream, "My therapist told me to log off." Studio insiders have been whispering that she wasn't the only one needing professional help. Disney allegedly brought in therapists for other cast members too, as morale spiraled into full-blown despair.
Rachel Zegler, who was cast in the title role, but some diehard fans were upset that Zegler, who identifies as Colombian American, was cast to portray the Disney princess.
Merch deals were quietly canceled. Theme park attractions hit pause. Investors started asking the unthinkable, is the live-action remake era finally dead? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching.